All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Generations Legacy, Velocitron Speedia 500 Collection, Robots in Disguise 2000 Universe Scourge. Quite the lengthy title there, and his is even a little bit longer than the other ones in this line. But yeah, if you're not familiar with the Velocitron Speedia 500 line, basically it's a little subwave of Legacy that is exclusive to Walmart and is generally kind of focused on racing and the racing planet. Obviously not, that strictly, because we have a lot of other figures that are not super relevant to that theme, a la Scourge here. But yeah, no, this is our repaint of the G2 Laser Prime into RID Scourge. And what's kind of neat there about the title there is that they're actually calling it Robots in Disguise 2000 universe, not just the Robots in Disguise universe, which, has kind of been the shorthand for fans for a while of RID 2000 and RID 2015, because, there's the newer series that also has the Robots in Disguise title. But it's interesting that in the product description itself, they actually call it Robots in Disguise 2000, because that implies that maybe we'll be able to get some like legacy versions of Robots in Disguise 2015 characters. I don't know if they have anything planned or if they're just trying to kind of leave that door open for themselves, but it'd be cool to see some updated versions of those characters. I think like Strong Arm would be a really great new figure to get, or a new version of Strong Arm rather. But also there's just like a ton of like those weird sort of animalistic Decepticons in that show. Like, can we get a Generation Springload? That would be very cool. It's not a great show, but it does have some kind of fun character designs in it. But either way, that's neither here nor there, and is not relevant to this figure because this is RID 2000 Scourge. And yeah, basically, if you're unfamiliar with Scourge, he's basically just another variation of the Nemesis Prime Black Convoy kind of idea of just the evil version of Optimus Prime. And this is what he looked like in the Robots in Disguise 2000 show. And yeah, no, it's a pretty nice deco here with the big, G2 tanker truck here. I love all the little, accented like teal details on him. I think that really stands out very nicely. And I love the choice of the plastic that they use here too, where it's like, as opposed to, some other Nemesis Primes, it's usually more of like a red, whereas this is really like a bright kind of neon-y pink, and it really, really pops with the black there. And of course, differentiates him a little bit from, other Nemesis Primes, which is nice. But yeah, no, it's a really nice looking truck mode, especially like compared to the original release of the Laser Prime. Like, this is like entirely coated in silver, which I think looks really nice. And I guess if you wanted to, you could just use this version for your Laser Prime if you really just liked the shinier trailer to go with him. But either way. But yeah, no, it looks pretty good. It rolls nicely. It has that articulation there from where it's just, pegged in. This, like the other version of this mold, is a very heavy retool of the Earthrise Optimus Prime mold. But yeah, no, looks pretty good. I'd say the one part about the vehicle mode that stands out in a way that I don't really like is just because, they're the same clear plastic has to be used in all the same places. There are a couple spots like right down here. I'd say the pink shining through is not great, but this spot also doesn't touch like, anything during transformation. So you could conceivably just like paint over that. And I think it would be a pretty easy little paint job to do. But yeah, not the end of the world. Just, does stick out a little bit, which is a shame because the rest of the truck mode looks so nice. Like that he's got the little teal highlights here on the top here as well. He comes with, of course, the same weapons that the Laser Prime came with, the sword and the little axe. Is this supposed to be an axe? I guess. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, they can store in the same way as well. If you want to store them on the vehicle mode itself, there is a way to store it underneath, right? Yeah, the sword at least can store under here, just with two little slots and tabs right under there. And then the this bit, I think there is a spot in there. Yeah, there is. There's two little tabs here that you can plug it in. So this is visible from the outside, and of course, makes it impossible to plug in the trailer. But, it's not perfect, but it's cleaner than a lot of, like truck Optimus Prime style storage where they just like put stuff on the back here. At least this kind of blends in. I mean, well, the shape of it blends in. The color of it obviously does not. But personally, I choose to use the other storage option, which is taking both of these and storing them inside the trailer itself, which we can just do a little look at here. It's the exact same mold as the G2 Laser Prime trailer, but you just stand it up like that, fold out the sides just like this, fold down this little panel, collapse this down, rotate this bit around on the ball joint and fold it up like that. And then fold out the little claw here, and there you have his little, base mode, which we'll look at again later. But just to kind of breeze through it, it doesn't really have any features or anything. It just is this basically. But if you want to store the weapons, they have both of these connections on either side, so you can store either weapon on each side, but you can't store both on the same side. It uses the same two little slots here that plugged it onto the trailer hitch, and it will just plug in right there for the axe. And then on the other side, we've got the same two little tabs here on the sword that will go into these two slots right here. So you can just plug it in like that and then transform this back, and it is, just as functional as it was before. It doesn't change anything pretty much. You just close it up like that, and boom, we got the trailer, we got the weapons all stored, and I think that is a really great way to store the weapons, especially because he's got the trailer here. It's nice that they have like dedicated spots. But yeah, no, pretty good truck mode. In terms of comparisons here, for the standard one, here he is with Kingdom Sideswipe, just so you can see what he looks like with a standard size deluxe. I think that works pretty well there. Here he is with the original Laser Optimus Prime, so you can see what that looks like. We can even get them both on here. Well, here we'll take a look at the trailers first, then we'll take a look at the cabs first. How's that? But yeah, same trailer here. Just obviously, it doesn't have like the extra red detail, but it is does have the silver there. So I think it still looks pretty good. And the trailer, can still do the thing where you fold down this bit and have that be the little kickstand. It's not a kickstand because it's not a motorcycle, but the little stand for the trailer, that still works there. But yeah, that's what those look like together. And then we can show off the actual cabs together. So you can see some places where they've decided to put a little bit more detail, like up here, and then obviously, some other places that don't quite have as much detail because it doesn't have like the flame deco going on. But I think they look pretty good together. And then if we want to bring back on the trailer here, let's bring on some other guys here. Here he is with the car mode for RAD Megatron. So you can see what they look like together. I have to look up how to do this every time I want to put them in this mode because I don't usually want to put them in this mode because it's a nightmare mode, but that looks pretty all right together. That might be kind of accurate to the show. I've never really truly watched fully through the show, so I'm not sure, but yeah, I think that works well enough. And then for another fun one, here he is with Nemesis Prime from, I want to say, one of the spoiler packs in the Netflix series, I think. So yeah, you can have that. They're knocking my background back just because it's very I have to like hold them like super far back so that they're making it on frame. But yeah, they look good together, and you can, if you want, swap the trailers too. Like if you wanted this one to have a more, kind of typical trailer, I think that looks pretty good just because it's the same kind of, silvery teal detail. So it matches pretty well. And you can, if you want, do the inverse of that and plug this one on here just because of the way that it lays out, it kind of makes them into like more of a train truck than like this doesn't turn at all, like because his trailer hitch is like the furthest forward on any version of this mold. But yeah, you can do that. And likewise, if you wanted to, you can obviously put this on Laser Prime. So if you like that look better and you didn't want the trailer for Scourge, you could do that. And of course, you could do the opposite of that as well and give him the other trailer that I don't think looks very good, but you could do it. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it for the size comparisons. Let's just get all this stuff off the side here. But yeah, in terms of transformation, obviously it's the exact same as the first version of this mold. I'm very cramped here with all this stuff on the side. I've got too small a recording setup to accommodate like having 3 different figures with trailers, and then also the really spread out car mode of RAD Megatron or Gigatron, whichever you prefer. But yeah, for transformation for the actual cab here, it's of course the same as Laser Prime. You want to start off by taking the little gas tanks on the side here and just folding them in like that. Take these little panels with the little step here, just fold them out. Take these and fold them out like that. And then once you've folded these down, it allows you to kind of bring this down. So you want to bring the legs down and then bring this up and then rotate the waist around kind of as you're going. And then up here, you want to take the entire sort of roof and windshield section of the car and fold it out like that. Then down here, you want to flip up these little flaps right here and separate the nose of the truck and just bring it out to the side for now. Then you want to take the what are going to be the arms, and they kind of hinge out of the side here. You're kind of having to like force it past a few things, but it's not too bad. Actually, no, it makes it easier if before you do that, you take the chest plate, which folds out from inside of the chest here, and just flips around, and then the kind of lower abdomen will plug into it like that, and just leave that hanging out for now. And that makes it easier because there are little tabs on here that do run into the chest plate there. That makes it easier to fold out the arms just like that. Then from there, you can kind of lean it back and then bring these sections up just like that. Tab them into place and then bring the chest plate down and tab them into those. Let's just do the legs here so we can adjust the camera. You want to fold down the knees here, which have some nice detail picked out, and then unfold the feet. Again, you know, the legs are the most similar part to the Earthrise Prime mold. Very similar, especially with the feet there being the same mold. But yeah, let's just adjust the camera here. Okay. And then we want to take the arms here and fold them the rest of the way in and just click them into place like that. Rotate them around to the bicep swivel, which is a little bit offset, so it kind of sits like that in vehicle mode, and then obviously sits like that in robot mode. Then you want to take the forearms here, open them up, fold out the hands, which can be kind of tricky sometimes, but not too bad, and then fold that back up, and just do that on both sides here. Then we can collapse the shoulder pads down and lock them into place, and then bring these panels back down. Take the head, fold it up, and it will actually kind of lock into those panels on the inside there. And then for the backpack here, you just want to take this little panel with the kind of jetpack sculpting on it and fold that down, and then fold this back up where it was before. And there we have Scourge in his robot mode. And yeah, he looks fantastic. I mean, this color scheme like just really always pops no matter what figure they do it on. Now, there is the complaint about him that he's not quite accurate to how Scourge as a character actually looked in the RAD cartoon, because Scourge actually, like, his chest piece here didn't have the pink windows like the truck did. It had just kind of like grayed out windows, and then he also has like this extra kind of pink detail on the shoulders as well. And yeah, I was kind of bummed when I saw that initially, because I was hoping for a more, you know, accurate to RAD version of the character. But I mean, in person, the chest piece especially just really pops with the pink. So I think that's fine. I do sort of wish that the pink up here wasn't there or was painted like it was on the Laser Prime version as well. So yeah, I don't know, but it's not the end of the world. It does add a little bit of extra color up there. It just makes him look a little bit less accurate. But yeah, no, he's got some nice painted detail, especially on the head sculpt here. There's the extra painted detail on the side pieces. I think works super well. He does have his upside down G2 Autobot logos there, which is you know, it's a choice. It was like a toy thing. I don't think he had those in RID because they didn't use the G2 Autobot logos in Robots in Disguise. So I think that's more of a toy reference. So you know, whatever. But it's not the end of the world. It's just I don't really like the G2 logos personally. I'd personally just prefer Autobot or Decepticon logos, or for him, I'm pretty sure RID Scourge just didn't have anything up there. I think that would have been fine if he just didn't have any faction symbols, but it's a nice little reference nonetheless. It's just not something I would have preferred. But yeah, in terms of articulation, he's of course the exact same as the original version of this mold. The head sculpt here, for some reason, I don't know why this is, but it feels like it has more range of movement than the original, and I'm looking at him here and I'm fairly certain it's the same sculpt, so maybe there's just something like stuck in the in the Optimus Prime version, but it obviously can rotate, and then it can also kind of bob up and down, which is something that I don't feel like the Laser Prime version can do, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do some investigation on that. But the shoulders are the one big kind of bummer for this guy because, you know, they can go forward by folding up these flaps like that, and it kind of like sinks his arm into the shoulder pad there, and they can go out to the side, but these bits don't move. They can only kind of hinge down this way and then hinge up a little bit this way. So you can kind of like approximate them moving together, but you can't like rotate this, unfortunately. You know, it's something I didn't love about Laser Prime, and it is present here, but it's not the end of the world. He does have a bicep swivel, though, you know, for transformation, it's kind of offset, so at a certain point, it might start looking a little weird, but not in any, you know, reasonable use of a bicep swivel. He's got 90 degrees of bend at the elbow there. Wrists are on a ball joint. His waist here has a swivel, and then he's got, you know, the Earthrise Prime hips, which are pretty good. Then go forward and back, out to the side, thigh swivel, little over 90 degrees of bend at the knee there. He's got ankle tilt, and then both the toe and the heel can independently hinge up and down, which can be, you know, used to support some kind of approximations of forward and backward ankle tilts. But yeah, no, he looks pretty good. The one thing I will say about him that's a little bit irritating is on one of his arms, the like soft, you know, detents of the ratchet seem to be a little bit tighter, I guess, where like this arm, you know, I can kind of get out to the side like this. This arm won't do that. It will stay here, or I can get it to go out here, and anything in between it's like is a little bit risky. And if you get it too close to the body, then it kind of just ends up doing that, which is kind of a bummer. Usually in most poses, like when he's holding his sword and stuff, it doesn't really end up being that big of an issue, but it is a little bit annoying. There's ways to work around it. It's just like, you know, if you kind of just like, oh yeah, I want him to look like that. Nope, he's got to have his arm right at his side. It's irritating, but it's not the end of the world. Maybe if I just, I don't know, like try to shave down that section just a tiny bit, then that might alleviate that, but I don't know. In terms of weaponry, obviously we can bring on his big trailer section here, so you can kind of man this. Same, just like, you know, the original version of this section can unpeg for whatever reason. I guess if you wanted to, you could have him hold that. It's silly, but, you know, you could do that. You can't really support it weight-wise, but you can do that. Or you can take the just the little top gun here and unplug that, and you can hold that in his hand as a little handheld pistol, double barrel pistol. I think that looks pretty good. Obviously the sword and the shield, or sword and the axe rather, are still stored in here, so you can have him hold those separately or combine them together. Just like the original version, there's a kind of inexplicable little tab here on the sword that's not used for anything, so when you're putting that in his hand, you have to make sure that that's facing outward so that it can go in between the gap between his finger and his thumb, so he can hold the sword like that. And then the axe here just unfolds at the handle, and he can hold that just like that. And you know, that looks pretty good. Or what I like to do is I like to personally do the combined mode for it, where you can take the sword, and the axe has a little slot up here, and then you just take the hilt of the sword, and again, make sure that tab is facing out, but plug it in like that, and give him a kind of like big sort of weird super sword. I don't know, it's an odd shape, but I do think it looks pretty good, especially in the neon pink. I think that really pops. And again, like when you're having him hold the sword, it does kind of, you know, make it easier to just put that arm a little further out to the side and have it still look good. And it kind of, you know, helps kind of hold it down a little bit, so it's not, you know, thooping up to that point. But yeah, no, I think that looks pretty good. Other weaponry, just like the original one, which I'm going to keep saying, he does still have these little sections that you can unfold here, and he's got the little sculpted in missile racks, which of course don't actually do anything. But, you know, that's still pretty cool. Let me just get this out of here so we can kind of start doing some comparisons here. First and foremost, here he is with Kingdom Sideswipe again, just for that standard size deluxe comparison. Here he is again with the Laser Prime. So you can see the head sculpts are the same, I'm pretty sure, but for whatever reason, the head sculpt on Laser Prime doesn't seem to want to like hinge down, and it looks like it's like is the panel that they're attached to different? I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, I can't really tell like the actual difference there, but it seems like this head is like a little bit further back, maybe. I don't know. It didn't really occur to me that yeah, no, his head is further back. What's up with that? I don't understand that at all. Huh. So maybe they changed the sculpting of the panel the head is attached to? I don't know, but that's like pretty noticeable that this head is further back. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe I just have like a warped piece on my Laser Prime. I'm not really sure, but either way, this is better. So maybe other people's versions of Laser Prime can also have head sculpts like that. I envy you because this is kind of rough, but whatever. But yeah, that's what he looks like with Laser Prime. Here he is again with Nemesis Prime, just so you can see the two of them together. I think that's a pretty cool look. And again, you know, you can see some of the differences here. Obviously, they're both black and have the teal accents, but he's got more of like a pure blood red, and he's got like that neon pink. And I think that looks, you know, pretty good and differentiates them a little bit. Actually, let me just bring back on Laser Prime here so you can see what I'm talking about. Like with the shoulders up here, this section is also sculpted in the blue, but most of it is like painted to match the gray plastic there, so it doesn't have all the extra translucent blue shining through. Maybe they used, you know what, probably that paint budget got taken away because of all the silver they put on the trailer, which fair, I guess that would be better. I don't know. I could take it or leave it either way, but you know, it would have been nice if this was painted black. But again, it wouldn't be the most difficult paint job to do. But I don't know if it's really worth it. But yeah, here he is again with RID Megatron. And then let's also bring on Thrilling 30 Skybite here, just so we can see some RID characters in comparison there. I think they all look pretty good together. And then last but not least, well, maybe least, I don't know. He doesn't really have anything to do with these guys, but here he is with the other figures in the Velocitron line that we've looked at so far with Cosmos and Road Rocket and Override there. I keep knocking my background back a little bit just because a lot of big stuff moving around on the table right now. But yeah, you know, I mean, they look good together. They don't look like they have any reason to be together. Like it's basically just 4 different characters from completely different universes, and that's more or less consistent with the other figures that I didn't pick up in this line as well, but you know, whatever. That's what he looks like with all of them. And then, all right, last thing here is, yes, he still has the Matrix, and it is in his chest, and it's not really, like, I don't think that Scourge as a character had a Matrix. It was more just like, oh, he scanned a truck and scanned Optimus Prime at the same time, but yeah, I don't know. They painted the handle. They kept the rest of it the translucent pink. I don't think it looks that good, but it does look a little bit nice kind of shining through his window there. But yes, he does still have that. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this figure. You know, not much of a departure from Laser Prime, obviously, as he really shouldn't be, because he's, you know, RID Scourge is just a repaint of the original Laser Prime, so I think it works pretty well. But yeah, no, I like him. I think this color scheme works super well. It's, of course, I don't really think he makes a ton of sense as like a racing themed character, but either way, it's a nice reason to get this color scheme, because as soon as that Laser Prime came out, everyone knew that this figure was coming in some way, shape, or form, and I am not disappointed with him. I think he looks really nice on the shelf. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Transformers Velocitron Speedia 500. What is it? Robots in Disguise 2000 Universe Scourge.